Hello. Hi guys. So I'm just gonna kind of wait for people to show up. If they do, what is today? Sunday. So I'm assuming people should be around. We're just gonna do some questions and answers. I mean, you guys can ask anything. You can ask about me. You can ask about Rachel. You can ask about Luna, Phoebe, my other dogs. Anything you want to ask. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about today. I was just going to kind of talk about, COVID, and if you have a service dog or service dog in training, and how everybody is doing with their dogs. What are you doing, to kind of keep up with training, things like that. While I drink my coffee. And I've been doing a lot of like coloring and stuff just to keep my mind busy and off of some things. So if you see me looking down, it's because I am just coloring. But we'll kind of hang out for a minute, see if anybody shows up. If nobody shows up, then I probably won't post this video. But I know I haven't really had a lot to put out as of late, or really haven't done anything except for like opening packages, things like that. And that's just because, like, with COVID, like, I don't really go out. I've been lucky in the fact that hasn't really affected Phoebe any, as far as like where she's at as a service dog. She did graduate from her program back in November. And I mean, I've been out maybe a handful of times since then. I've been to maybe one or two meetups. And then every so often we go out to pick up things that we need, or, what have you. And I've been very lucky with the fact that, like, when we do go out, like, she falls right back into work. Like, she never stopped working. And that's been phenomenal. While we are at home, we do still kind of keep up with, her training and stuff. Several times a week, I'll just go through stuff with her. We're working on her in-home alerts. Luna still actively alerts at home, and she will respond like to anxiety and panic and things like that. And then usually once she's, responding or whatever, then Phoebe gets up and she also is there responding. So we're just trying to work on Phoebe being more consistent with like her in-home alerts, and really kind of reinforcing the stuff at home, because when we're out, she does that perfectly fine. No problems there. So I've been very lucky with that. But otherwise, how are you guys doing with the COVID stuff? How's your training going? Are you guys having any problems? Also, I can, kind of help or offer advice, if you guys are having issues with getting something trained, depending on what it is. I'm happy to try and offer advice or help out with that as much as I can. Also, I don't know if you guys know, I do have an Instagram. I try to post as often as I can on there, but I haven't really had a whole lot to post on there. It's the same handle as it is here on my YouTube, Service Mutt & Co. I also have a TikTok. The TikTok revolves mostly around service dog stuff. It has videos of Luna, has videos of Phoebe, some of my other dogs. But it's, it has some personal stuff on there too. So the TikTok is also the same handle, Service Mutt & Co. So if you guys want to go follow on there, you can. It's insane. I have like 24,000 followers on TikTok. Which is like, it's insane. It baffles me that I have that many people following me on TikTok, and like I don't really put out like a whole lot of stuff on TikTok. If, you know, everybody from TikTok came over here to my YouTube, like that would just be insane. Or they went to my Instagram even. And on my TikTok, I have both linked there. So it's just kind of like, I did a video of me and my best friend at the time. We were in Target and like just joking around, and it like blew up. Like I didn't expect that to blow up, but it was like a joke. She was following me around with her service dog, and I'm like, ma'am, don't approach me with your dog, ma'am. Please back up. Like she was a crazy Karen with a service dog Target type thing. So, and then I did a couple follow-up videos. At the time, she had just moved in with her service dog into my house, and I did a follow-up video like a couple days later where like I find her sitting in here in my dining room, and she's like eating my food, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, how did you get to my house? And then I did a third one. We were at a friend's apartment, and she showed up at the apartment. So that was, that video for some reason like blew up, and I now realize that that's kind of like what TikTok is about. It's about like, you know, you joking around or doing like an on-running joke or whatever. Not always, but that's a lot of it. And that, you know, people like series videos on there, and I just don't have that kind of content to like put on there. So it's just kind of turned into, this is me, this is my dog, this is my service dog type kind of thing. So, and then like I said, I have a few personal videos on there of like one thing that's bothering me right now is that like there is this ongoing trend where people are, transgender males are like taking their shirts off and just, you know, being confident and being a transgender male, being able to go around with their, you know, shirt off because that's what they feel like doing. And they may or may not have had top surgery. This is like non-binary people too. Like me, I'm non-binary. And they're basically, you know, being themselves. And then you've got these people that are coming and stating like these women, these cisgender women who might be like supportive, or they say they're supportive, but they're actually not, based off of what they're saying, that like, how are you not getting banned? Like if I were to do this, I would get banned because I'm a woman. Well, these men are men, they're not women, and it's obvious that they're men, and it's just like people are on there like complaining about it, and you know, saying like put a shirt on, like that's not cool, that's not decent, it's indecent, it's nudity or whatever, when it's not. And so I did a stitch with somebody, or like a duet with somebody that had done that, and basically to let everybody know like, hey, I'm a non-binary person. If I feel like walking around my house without my shirt on, like I'm going to do it. Like I don't care what anybody thinks. Like I mean, at this point, like it would probably be more of like a private thing for me anyway, because I do have a large chest, but I'm hoping that I can get, you know, surgery for that in the near future, to either remove or reduce the size of my chest, because I've never been happy with it. I mean, literally from the time, like if my mom was around, like she could tell you guys, literally from the time I started developing, you know, breasts, I absolutely hated them. I did not want to wear a bra. Like I told my mom, I'm like, I'm not going to wear a bra until I'm 16 or, you know, whatever, because I didn't want to. And it made me very uncomfortable. To this day, I am uncomfortable in a bra, or I am uncomfortable wearing a bra. Unfortunately, when I go out, I do not have a choice because of how large busted I am. Whereas, like, say my partner or someone who has a much smaller chest than I do, they can go out with a bra and still be fairly comfortable. So I just long for the day where I no longer have to wear one period, or I can still go out without a bra and not be so self-conscious about it or be misgendered, things like that. So, um, so yeah, for those of you who didn't know, I am non-binary. Non-binary. My pronouns are they, them, or he, him, and I really am getting sick of being misgendered. I mean, a lot of days I can go out and not have to worry about that. Like, I remember I was standing in line one of the last times I really went out. I was standing in line at Walmart for the self checkout, and there was a woman with a kid coming up behind me, and she told her kid, get in line behind him, get in line behind that gentleman. And I was like so happy about it. I was like, like I didn't get mistaken. I do wear a binder. I bind when I can. It's really uncomfortable for me due to my fibromyalgia and another skin disease I have called hidradenitis suppurativa, or HS. And that can make it very uncomfortable when I have like open sores and stuff, especially under my breasts. Like putting pressure down, like skin to skin contact, really hurts. So I don't get to bind as much as I'd like to, and I am looking for alternative ways to. So if you guys know anything, like I know there's like binding tape now, but like my cup size is like an H or a J. It just depends on the type of bra. So pretty big, unfortunately. So I don't think that the tape would work for me. I've tried Ace bandages in the past, and they just don't hold them in place well enough. So I don't know. I don't know what to do this at this point. To just, I just want to be comfortable. It doesn't really seem like anybody's showing up or around on this Sunday afternoon. So I'm probably not going to post this. I mean, I will just probably stay live and keep rambling about stuff and see if anybody pops in. And if they do, I will answer any questions they might have. Actually, let's do the dark. This is supposed to be a dark gray, and it's like black. Whatever works, I guess. Maybe I'll just stay live like as long as I can, just to see if anybody pops in, because like today is a pretty boring day for me. I need to take care of some housework, but other than that, I have like absolutely nothing going on. As I do like most days, I don't have anything going on, so it's just kind of like, for me, it's one day at a time, and I just do what I can every day, one day at a time. I don't know if I can show like what I'm doing on YouTube because it has bad words in it. So like this particular coloring book, like right now, like I'm just working through it from the beginning. So I'm on like the second page. There's other pages in it that I've already colored, but I've just decided to start working through my coloring books like one page at a time because I do this almost every day. But like this one. So it's an adult, obviously adult type coloring book. I had some people pop in early on, but they're like, oh my god, this is boring. She's not doing anything. Yeah, I know. My life can be boring sometimes. And in other news, well, I was going to talk about it, but I'm probably not going to talk about it on this platform. I'll talk about it on probably like TikTok or somewhere else. Like, is anybody else at this point like bothered by the service dog community? The fact that like the community has set like their own standards as far as like what's acceptable and what's not. Like, I don't know, like for example, like someone, you know, I admin a group, you know, I've talked about it before. I admin a group on Facebook, and somebody posted in there about getting, you know, x-rays and stuff done for their service dog to start using them for mobility tasks or see if they could in the future. So their dog is a little over a year old, and they're like, so I have to get x-rays at 1 year and 2 years, and it's like, no, not necessarily. But like, here's the thing with like mobility dogs, like there is no standard out there, like reliably sourced standard. Like I'm talking either a source from like an orthopedic vet or some other type of veterinarian like source for reliable information or standards. Like it's not, there's not like a study or anything that's been done. So honestly, it's really common sense as far as like weight and height ratio and your dog, and you know, getting your dog x-rays. Like I always recommend people do by age 2, because at age 2 your dog should be fully matured. All birth plates and stuff should be closed. And again, you know, it's common sense as far as weight and height ratio on your dog. And the type of mobility tasks like you'll be doing. If you're going to do more heavy mobility tasks that involve like pulling a wheelchair or like doing some weight bearing, like you never want to put, I don't care how big the dog is, you never want to put your full weight on a dog. But yeah, you definitely 100% would want to have x-rays done at age 2 for heavy mobility tasks like pulling a wheelchair, you know, doing some weight bearing, things like that. For counterbalance, and you know, and again guys, this is just my opinion, this isn't like something that's set in stone somewhere. For like counterbalance, guide work, grounding, things like that, like you would probably still want to have x-rays done, but like you know, would want to, for something like that, you would want to check for growth plate closure, you know, and again, I would see an orthopedic vet, not your regular veterinarian, because they're not necessarily knowing what they're going to look for. Check for growth plate closure, and then you know, take a harness in with you that you're going to be using or that you want to use, and you know, ask them like, hey, is this going to be safe for my dog? Here's what I would be doing. Explain counterbalance and what it is if they don't know. Explain your guide work, you know, what you would be doing with that. So for like Phoebe unfortunately is not getting as big as what I was hoping she would get. She's about the size of a normal size standard poodle. So she's much bigger. She's taller, let's just put it that way. She's a lot taller than what Luna was. You know, Luna was about 45 pounds. Phoebe is probably 55 to 60 pounds. And basically what I would be doing with her would be counterbalance. So it'd be light mobility tasks, counterbalance, grounding, and like forward momentum, basically. Not really guide work, because like, you know, I don't really need to be guided anywhere, but just like the forward momentum, like being able to feel the dog pull forward to kind of get me out of somewhere quickly if I needed to or whatever. And then grounding, which is where you basically just have your hand on the harness and you're feeling the movement of the dog. That is a big one for me. Like, that is very comforting to me for some reason, you know, just feeling the movement of how she is moving. So yeah, you definitely, if you're using your dog for any type of mobility work, you want to, you know, get x-rays, you know, things like that. I know there are people out there who are using their dogs for mobility and they have not been cleared. You know, as far as like having any type of x-rays or anything done. And I feel really bad for those dogs. Especially because the one particular one I know is really, really like, let's just say it's a breed of dog that's prone to hip dysplasia. And the dog came from a backyard breeder. So it's just kind of sad. And I feel for that dog. So just be responsible, guys, with your service dogs. You know, get them checked for stuff. Phoebe goes to the vet next month for her yearly exam and to get all her shots and everything. And I'm going to discuss about having some x-rays done for her for, you know, just her light mobility. Even if the vet says, oh, for that it's not necessary, I'm probably still going to be like, no, I want them done, because that's just me being a responsible service dog owner. Man, I don't really have, kind of have an orange, kind of don't. It's more burnt sienna. Whoa. Frustration. Oh, I forgot I have like the baby pink green here that I can use too. But anyway, guys, yeah, get your dogs checked out if you're gonna have them used for mobility. And like, I do not recommend using a dog for mobility, like if it's too small. It's common sense. Again, it's common sense. And if you're not sure, or you just really don't know and you're just not sure, there's no harm in, like, you know, putting it out there on a platform. I mean, just be prepared to get some stuff, you know, some negativity back. You know, you might not get the answer you want, but if the consensus more often than not is no, don't use your dog for any kind of mobility task, it's probably because they're too small. But then again, you know, pictures don't always do things justice. Like, I can post a picture of Phoebe and she looks like really small when in fact she's like actually huge, or looks huge. So like, I at first I thought Phoebe, when she like hit a year old, or was about to hit a year old, I had been growing her fur out, and like, she looked huge. A lot of that was like her fur. So when I shaved her down, I'm like, dang, man, she's really smaller than I thought she was. So that was also a little bit upsetting, you know, knowing that she was smaller, because I do need some mobility help, but I'm able to get by with just the light counterbalance and, you know, stuff like that. Oh, sorry guys, I dropped you. Hello everybody. Hi German Service Paws. How's everybody doing? I didn't realize I had people in here that were actually watching. If anybody that's here has any questions, feel free to ask, because like honestly at this point, like I'm just rambling. So if there's anything you guys want to ask, feel free to ask. I'm just rambling on about mobility dogs and how the service dog community needs to, you know, calm its tits on, you know, jumping down people's throats about it. It's common sense. A lot of common sense. It's cold. Yes, it is very cold. Here it's in the 20s, 20 degree Fahrenheit. I know like 26 degrees Fahrenheit is like -6 Celsius, so it's been in the 20s around that temperature. So, and we're about to get a bunch of snow too. It's supposed to start at some point today and go all the way through till Tuesday, off and on. So definitely not going anywhere. Guys, it's the mailman. Chill out. My TV episode just ended. I had just started one right before. Well, I guess it's automatically playing the next episode, which is cool. But I try to leave the TV on all day for the dogs, even if I'm not watching it, or if I'm home by myself, like that visual noise or whatever just helps. Ah. I keep knocking you guys over, I'm sorry. Planning on getting it there too. Where are you? German Service Paws, if you don't mind me asking. Where are you in the world? Until we're all protected and back to the way we remember. We can't remember if you are in the US or in Canada.
Explore teaching opportunities at teachindynow.org.
That didn't take long. I just like finished this picture pretty much. Tennessee. Oh yeah, I got family in Tennessee. Well, I don't think I have any living family in Tennessee anymore, sadly. I have an aunt by marriage, I guess. She's kind of... That's how she came into the family. I don't think her and my great uncle ever actually got married. I think they lived together until he passed, and she still has his house and stuff, same place. I haven't seen her since my mama's funeral. Her and my mama were like best friends. Hi guys, welcome. Hi Karen. So feel free to ask questions, guys. Anything like you want. I'm just kind of, this is what I'm doing. So I'm, you know, trying to check and see, look for questions and stuff as I'm doing this. And I've just been rambling. Like I was just talking about mobility dogs a little bit ago. Anybody watching, like, are you guys owner training? Are you guys going through like a co-train program or an owner train program? I have done both. I have, Phoebe went through a program. She went through like an owner train program. And Luna, I trained myself. So, and Phoebe is technically my third service dog. My very first dog I had washed as a puppy, unfortunately. So I am on my third dog now. Luna retired early or washed due to some fearful issues she was having. I'll just tell you guys the story with that. So in 2018, 19, I can't remember. I think it was 2019, 18. It was 18. Um, yeah, because I got her in 2018, but this happened, I think, 2019. We went to the state fair here, because I'm in Columbus, Ohio, and the state fair happens right here. So she was doing fantastic all day long. As the day went on, it got a little bit later in the day. We decided to take a break in like a shelter area where it was like covered and it was a little bit cooler. There was some shade. I also had a cooling towel on around my neck because I'm pretty sensitive to heat and cold. So I had that on and it was getting dried out. It wasn't really feeling that cold anymore. So I took it off, got it wet, and then wrung it out. And she was over here. I was in my chair and she was over here this is my left side. So it looks like right side to you guys. And she was over here laying down. Well, I didn't know she had got up to readjust herself, so she was more kind of behind me, but her head was over here sticking out on the right. So I went to go wring it out, and then you're supposed to snap it. So when I snapped it, it didn't hit her. It was just really close to her face. And my mistake was I made a big deal out of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 because I didn't know until I was going to snap it and kind of looked that it was right there by her, and it scared her. And then, she recovered okay from that, but the fact that I made a big deal out of it was where I was wrong. And then when we went back to the game area, there's the dart throwing game with the balloons. And we were right by, she was fine walking through there, all the bells and whistle sounds, she had no issue. And I was stopping to adjust myself in my chair, and we happened to be right by that game booth where they were popping balloons or throwing the darts to pop the balloons. And somebody was really good at it, and they were popping the balloons. She freaked out. I don't know what happened or why, or, what made her freak out like that. I feel like it was maybe that snap because it was a similar sound. But she freaked out. And then any noise like that, you can have a piece of wood in a store, or sometimes something like a broom handle, anything like that hits the ground on the floor, and it, has that noise. She would freak out, and she never really recovered from that. Unfortunately, it was something I tried to work through with her, and 90% of the time she was fine out, but the other 10%, if something occurred, she was done for the day then, and I couldn't work her. I had to leave wherever I was at and had to leave with her. So yeah, she had never, German service pause, yes, it scared her. She had never had an issue with loud noises or anything like that previously. And, I had been working her close to a year and a half at that point when this happened. So I got to work Luna about 2 years before she had to wash or retire early just because of that. And so I feel like it's my fault that she had to stop working. She's still a phenomenal service dog, does great in home. She's a great in-home dog, but she just gets spooked too easily out in public now, unfortunately. So, okay, we had a question. Hi, Karen. How can I find a trainer to do training for me? I am also willing to train on my own, but I have no clue where to start. So, Karen, I would look up, I would join Facebook groups in your area for your state. A state Facebook group is a good place to start if someone has it. So say you're in, Virginia. So Facebook search, Virginia Service Dog Handlers or something like that. Get into that group, or start with your city or town, or a big city or town maybe close to you, service dog handlers. That's just an example. Once you get into that group, ask. Say, I have a service dog in training. I'm looking into getting training done for her, or have my dog completely trained by someone, or I need advice on where to start with owner training. hopefully they're going to give you suggestions for, you know, either owner trained programs. I highly recommend owner trained programs because you are with your dog. So you're going once or twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever this program has set, with your dog, and you're there the entire time. So you're not dropping your dog off at what they call a board and train, so where they're keeping the dog, feeding the dog, taking care of the dog, and then also doing its training for service work, because you're not there. Unless they are a highly recommended, highly credited, you have a website you can go to and look at to see reviews and things like that. I do not recommend doing board and train because you don't know what's going to happen to your dog while it's there. I've had many people that I know have really bad experiences with board and train programs. So I always recommend co-train or owner train programs. So if you have one of those, you can find one. Definitely go for that. That's hopefully affordable. As far as you training, depending on where your dog is at, if it's a puppy or if it's an adult dog, if it's a puppy, you know, start with your basics. Sit, stay, down, sit up, wait, leave it, you know, things like that. You know, the foundation for a good service dog. And then from there, you know, then you would want to start on your task work. But even if you have an adult dog and they kind of know that stuff, they know sit, they know down, that's great. Reinforce those, and then, you know, also teach your leave it, also teach your, you know, your sit up, you know, wait, you know, things like those are all good founding things to have for a service dog. So that's it. I hope that advice kind of helps a little bit. Yes. I don't have tea in here. I have coffee. But yes, this is my favorite mug. One of my best friends got me. And I use it every day for my coffee. It's the only one I use. If I'm drinking tea because I'm sick or something, this is what I'm drinking my tea out of also. So yes, I love this mug. I love Hocus Pocus. It's one of my favorite movies. That and Practical Magic. As far as like Halloween movies or witchy stuff, that's my favorite. So I hope that's helpful, Karen. You've been training basics. That's good. Good. Keep the questions coming, guys. You guys have some pretty good questions here. Trying to think of what else I can really kind of talk about right now. Oh, okay. So since Karen, since you brought up, you know, a program or owner training, I want to talk about how the service dog community kind of feels about that. I mean, I want to say a good 75 to 80% of the service dog community is owner training, which is awesome. I've owner trained. Like I said, I've owner trained, and I started knowing absolutely nothing. And once I got into the service dog community, then I was able to learn more. So Karen, I definitely recommend kind of trying to, you know, get into the service dog community more, getting to know people in the service dog community, while also protecting yourself, because the service dog community can be brutal. So just be careful what you post, be careful what you say. Unfortunately, you know, people can take things the wrong way, or the biggest thing is people make assumptions and run with that. They make assumptions, they assume, you know, things are going on with you and your dog, or, you know, things like that. So just be careful. But as an owner trainer, when I was first getting started, I really got into the service dog community. I made friends and stuff like that, and then I realized later on that this community can be pretty toxic at times. So, but just because your dog is owner trained does not make it any less valid than a program trained dog. You know, unfortunately, kind of it's a mix in the service dog community. You know, some people who have dogs from programs, you know, feel like their dog is more valid than someone who owner trains. No, that's absolutely not true. An owner trained dog is just as valid. What people don't understand is that it's all, even the general public doesn't understand this. It's all in the training. It's in the dog's behavior. You know, how your dog is behaving out in public, how your dog has been trained to behave in public is very important, because you're not presenting, you know, your dog is a service dog once it meets either your standards or, you know, the general ADA standards of what a service dog is. A lot of people with program trained dogs feel like you shouldn't owner train or you can't owner train, which is not true, because federal law states you can owner train it if you can't afford it, because a lot of people can't afford a program. Luckily, my program for Phoebe was very affordable, and even with my program, I had guidance. You know, my program trainer was guiding me through some of the things that I did not understand or I could not figure out how to train Phoebe to do. So the rest I pretty much did on my own. And I was meeting once a week with this program to train Phoebe. If there was a group outing or something like that going on, I would always go. One, she got group exposure to other dogs and other people. And two, you know, maybe somebody else's dog is having the same problem mine was. So, you know, being in a group setting, you can learn from each other. Or maybe my dog previously had this issue and their dog currently does, so I can also help them out. Plus the program trainer is there and they can help out as well. So, you know, I feel like there's a lot of positive to like owner trained programs. But, you know, again, it doesn't make your dog any less valid, and I'm tired of some people in the community saying, you know, your dog's not a service dog because it didn't go through a program, or your dog doesn't do this, or your dog doesn't have the CGC, so it's not a service dog. Okay, CGC is Canine Good Citizen test. It's usually done through an AKC trainer or someone who's been certified through the AKC to give the CGC test. There is no requirement for a CGC test. Phoebe graduated her program and did not take the CGC. Will she probably eventually? Yeah, I'm probably going to have her do it. But, and that's just for me to say, you know, if for some reason your dog so horribly behaved in public, really, what's she doing that's so horrible? You know, I don't know, for some reason it can be like, well, she's passed her CGC, or if someone for some reason in the community asked me, well, did your dog take the CGC? Yeah, she took the CGC. Luna took the CGC and passed. That was one of the last things that she did before she retired. Was she took the CGC. So, you know, I don't know why I felt like I had to validate to some people that, oh, my dog's had CGC testing, you know, things like that. It's all a personal preference. You know, a lot of stuff in the community is a personal preference, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. But the ADA does not state that the dog needs to have a certification or testing. Has COVID made it harder to train for you? Yes, because I can't go out in public as much. I mean, again, Phoebe graduated from her program in November. So she's graduated. We're doing a lot of reinforcing stuff at home. Like, we're doing a lot of, like, working on alerting at home, because she does it great out in public. but I think it's because Luna's here and she's really on top of alerting at home, that Phoebe doesn't do it as much. You know, then she sees Luna responding and she comes over and she responds as well. But, you know, she hasn't really been, will she do it? Yes, she does. But she's not as consistent as Luna is. So, you know, that's something that we're really working on, is more in home. When we go out in public, Phoebe is very on top of it. You know, it's like she never stopped working. If we haven't been out in like a month or longer, it's like she never stopped working. So it has been hard because I don't get to go out as much with her as I'd like to. But when I do go out, I do take her, and as soon as that vest goes on, she knows it's time to work. So I've been very blessed and very lucky that I have a dog that just falls right back into work like they never missed a beat. But yeah, it's been tough to keep up with public stuff because being immunocompromised, like I just don't go out. But we do a lot of stuff at home. How would you start training for mobility? So before I would even... Okay, so positioning is just as important with mobility, depending on what you're doing, as the mobility task itself. So prior to, you know, your dog being cleared via x-rays and things like that, you can teach some mobility positioning. So for guide work, you're going to want the dog to be, you know, ahead of you some, because you have this handle, depending on the length that you need or what, that juts out. So it's okay for the dog to be up in front of you a little bit. So you can start with positioning there. I used this, I taught Phoebe the stand position. I taught her a left position and a right position. Also, I did teach her brace because I was hoping she would get big enough for that. I taught her positioning for brace. We didn't do actual bracing. So what I would do is I would put my hands, you know, over her hips and over her shoulders, and I would just place them there, and I would say brace, and she would adjust her feet. Or in the very beginning, I had to adjust her feet for her to be in a proper position. And my program trainer showed me the proper positioning for that in front of you. So you can teach the placement and the commands, but don't actually, so I never actually braced on her. I never actually put any weight down on her or pressure. It was just my hands were there, and I would say brace. And I would just move my hands back and forth like this. There was no pressure down on her. So she learned brace for the front. She learned stand, just a stand command if I needed her to get up quickly so I could, you know, do what I needed to do. She learned left, and she learned right. So depending on, you know, if I need to move her out of the way for something, you know, I can say left and she'll move left. I can say right. Now she just does it naturally. That didn't take long after I started using, you know, left and right for her to just kind of do it naturally. If someone was coming, she would move out of the way. So, teach the, like I said, teach the placement for it. You can start there. And then once they are cleared, you know, by a vet with x-rays or whatever, then you can start doing the actual task itself, which might take some getting used to. Phoebe started wearing harnesses probably about 6 months. So to get her used to just being on a harness. Like I said, unfortunately, I'm not able to do the heavy mobility work with her that I was planning on doing. So we do counterbalance, forward momentum, and then just grounding. And again, forward momentum is where you have that little bit of pull. That's usually what a pull strap is for, that little bit of pull. It's not a strong pull like it would be for guide work. Just that little bit of pull while they're moving. They can still be in a heel position, and you can just hold on to that pull strap. Grounding is holding on to, like, you could say a rigid handle or even the counterbalance handle, like you're just holding on to it, like your hand is just resting there. There's no downward pressure. With a counterbalance handle, you never put downward pressure on a counterbalance handle. It's not meant for that. It's meant for upward pulling. So, I do have a harness that has a counterbalance handle on it. I have not really done any of the upward because, again, I need to get her cleared still. But she has done grounding, and she has done forward momentum, like just me feeling that momentum a little bit. But there's no, if she starts pulling too hard, I immediately let go because, one, I don't want her pulling too hard. Two, she's not been cleared yet to be even pulling a little bit like that. So yeah, start with the positioning if your dog's not old enough to be cleared. And you want to get x-rays done. You can get x-rays done before 2 years old, but usually at 2 is when people are getting x-rays done, primarily to make sure growth plates are closed. If you're doing heavy mobility, you want like a full workup of x-rays. You want hips, knees, elbows, spine, shoulders. You want all of that checked out. If you're doing like lighter mobility tasks like me, you know, checking their hips out, their shoulders would probably also be good. You know, you just want to make sure all the growth plates are closed. You know, knees and elbows are always a plus. Like, I'll probably go ahead and have her knees and elbows done, just because she's doing a little bit of light pulling with the forward momentum. And again, you know, I can't stress this enough. A lot of it is common sense, guys. Phoebe didn't get large enough for me to do more heavy mobility tasks with her, so I'm not doing that. There are days that I need that heavy mobility help, and unfortunately I'm gonna have to rely on my other mobility aids, my cane and my wheelchair, on bad mobility days, which is another reason I really have not been going out. My wheelchair needs to be fixed. My seat needs to be adjusted, and it just kind of needs to be tuned up. And I haven't had a chance to do that. Where can I find a very good harness to use for, I guess, counterbalance so I don't have to use my cane? Well, when you have a cane, you know, that's a stability thing, and a lot of times you're putting a little bit of pressure down on it. So counterbalance is if you're gonna go, you know, you're losing your balance and you're going from to one side or the other. Like me, I fall back into the left when I lose my balance. All the time. That's what happens. I fall back into the left. So, I'm sorry, back into the left, back into the right. So that's why Phoebe's on my left side. So when I start to fall back and to my right, I can pull up on that handle to bring myself right. So, and if I'm not going to be able to, like, I will let go and I will just fall because I don't want to take her with me, over with me. But she knows when she feels, anytime, even if she feels that pull, like just a little bit, she goes to her left. I've never actually really used her for counterbalance, but my trainer noticed that if I started going this way, she would either pull the leash or whatever. She would just naturally go it was weird. She would naturally go to her left to kind of right that feeling, I guess. So, as far as recommendations for harnesses, that's a tough one. I always say DD Designs or whatever it is, D&D Designs on Facebook. They have orthopedic approved counterbalance harnesses. So again, no downward pressure. I would still, a lot of times, like, I use my cane 90% of the time when I'm out now because, again, my chair's kind of messed up. And two, I can't use Phoebe really for the counterbalance. I can basically do the grounding and a little bit of a pull with her. And again, like I said, as soon as she starts pulling too hard, I let go. So But D&D Designs is an orthopedically approved harness. Right now, they're the only ones I know that are orthopedically approved. There are heavy leather harnesses, yup, but I don't know if they're orthopedically approved in the United States. Yup is an Italian leather company that makes collars and harnesses, things like that for service dogs or even just working dogs. There's also Bridgeport. They are more heavy duty than the Yups. Like their leather quality and stuff is just better. It's a better put together harness. The only other orthopedic approved harness out there would be a Bold Lead Designs. They're very expensive. Their harnesses, like their saddles alone, are $200 or $300. That doesn't include your handles. Okay, so Bold Lead Designs and D&D Designs are the only two that I know that are orthopedically approved. I do have a D&D Designs harness Phoebe has never worn. Because it was made for Luna, so I have to make sure when I go to put it on her, I've never even put it on her, that one, it's going to fit her and fit her properly before, you know, I use it. Right now, the harness that she uses is Canyon Creek from River Dog Gear. I just like the look of the harness. It has a pull strap on it for me to do grounding and the little bit of the forward momentum with her. I'm still looking for a handle that's gonna fit and fit well when it's time to start that. But those are the two harnesses that I would recommend. One Tigress does make harnesses, but I have no idea if they're orthopedically approved. Alberta, using a traffic lead on a harness is not safe. It's not safe. It's not safe for you and it's not safe for your dog. So I don't recommend it. I mean, you guys can do whatever you want to do. Just keep in mind that that's not safe. Sorry, I'm reading through comments. Yeah, most of the time, Phoebe right now she's just wearing a vest. Depending on how the vest is set up, like here, for example, I just happen to have this laying here. So she has the same vest in a different size. There is a spot here where you can attach a pull strap. So when she's wearing a vest like this, I put a pull strap here, and I use that kind of as grounding and a little bit of the forward momentum pull. And again, because her shoulders and her hips have not really been cleared, this is why you want to have, you know, hips and shoulders done minimum, is because this here in the front, even a harness, like a straight front harness, or even a Y front, is gonna put pressure across here where the shoulder blades are. The shoulders come in this way. So, and then you have the harnesses that go over the shoulders. So the pressure is evenly distributed over the shoulders when they're doing a pulling. So that's why you want to have shoulders and hips done. This is a Purple Poodles harness. I actually am selling this because I don't have a need for it, and I just don't like, it's not that I don't like Purple Poodles, it's just that I'm just not comfortable using this harness. So this is actually for sale, guys. Message me on Instagram if you're interested in it. I'm asking for $65 plus shipping for it. Sorry, $65 plus shipping. Or no, $65 shipped. Sorry, I'll ship it for $65. But this girth goes pretty big, you can see. Her girth is 28, so it'll fit 28, probably down to maybe a 25 and much bigger. So I'd say this probably goes at least to 30, 31 inches. But anyway, that's just an example. That's why you want to have shoulders done as well. And, you know, even a lot of harnesses, they have the connections up here at the back of the harness. So the 2 D-rings on the back, you would want to put like a pull strap on for grounding or for the forward momentum pull. And then these that are on the side are for your counterbalance handle. So your handle goes down through here, connects here, comes over the top, connects down on the other side, and then you have the handle up here. So this is really, so it's really secure. So if anybody's new to mobility and they're just kind of like, what? So again, with this, you would want to connect. Your vest needs to have some type of, you know, D-rings on it or something for you to use a pull strap. Now, I do not recommend, hang on, I'll show you another one. Okay, so I just grabbed like a bunch of her gear to show you guys. So I got her, one of her harnesses. Okay, so this is a River Dog gear vest. I love that they have this option because this is actually what I started with when I wanted her to get used to a harness, because it had the Y front like a harness did. So I put this on her with no pull straps, nothing. This was one of the first adult vests that she was wearing. So this has the Y front here. Again, this is a River Dog gear vest. What it doesn't have is normally I like to have a handle here. This, I didn't until she got much older put a pull strap. Where'd it go? Here it is. So I like my pull straps fairly short, you know, I don't like a lot of length. This one I think is about 8 inches long. So there's your pull for your forward momentum. Do not use this for counterbalance where you go upwards. Like, it's just not in the right position. It needs to be farther up here. But for forward momentum or grounding, there you go. And again, I like this because it's got the white front on it. So you can get ones like this from River Dog Gear if you want to get your dog used to a harness while they're still young. And then there is Patience and Love makes vests that have little spots here. So I've seen people, and it's usually younger handlers and they don't know, that hook a pull strap here. No, this is not for a pull strap, guys. This is not for a pull strap. This is for a medical pouch. So you could hook your little medical bag or pouch here for it to hang off the back. I've also seen them up here at the top, same thing. It's for a medical pouch. This style vest is meant to be a vest only with pockets. Like, it's not meant to be used for any type of mobility, okay? So if you get a vest like this from Patience and Love, don't hook your pull straps to it because it's not safe. It's not designed for that. I mean, I can put this on here like this. I did have these. I got lazy one time and I just didn't want to take it off. I never used it, but I had this hooked on here like this one time and somebody was like, why do you have a pull strap on that vest? It's not, I'm like, I didn't use it for a pull strap. Did you see me in the video once grab a hold of that handle? No. So this is not, see how it's so close together? And this is, it's just from where it's pulling. Also, like, look, the way it's sewn on there, it's not meant for something heavy duty like that. It's meant to put a med pouch on. That's what that is for. And you can request that it not even be on there if you don't like it. So this I got secondhand, so it was already on there. But this is our favorite just throw on and go vest if I'm having a good day and I can just get around with my cane and be fine. I love this vest. But I'm just showing you, giving you examples. So this is also river dog gear, not this, but the harness. Let me take this cape off. Okay, so here is a Canyon Creek harness from River Dog Gear. This is a very nice harness. I like the way it fits. It's very padded. The thing is this is not orthopedically approved. Okay. Right now I have the handle in a pull strap position on the harness, which is where this is also set up for guide. You can see the loops. She will never be used as guide. I don't need a guide dog. I don't need that type of work. So there's loops here for the guide handle to come through and sit across the shoulders on both sides. Because of the way the length of the handle is, it's a longer length, I hook it there. And I just feel it's safer, as far as that goes. This is also, shame on me, a counterbalance handle, and I shouldn't be using it as like a pull. But the pull strap position is here on the back. My shorter ones I do hook here. So this is on the back here. This is not a long enough counterbalance handle for us. It's not the correct length, so I can't hook it in where you would hook the counterbalance, which would be, and you can put it through the loops if you want, or not, which would be on the sides of the harness. So it would sit on the harness like this as a counterbalance handle. This harness is set up more for guide. It's not really set up well for counterbalance, so I can't use it for that, but I can use it for grounding, and I can use it for forward momentum by attaching here or up here. But this is a good quality harness. She's not orthopedically approved, but this is a primary harness that she goes out in if I'm feeling like I need that grounding or that little bit of forward momentum. This is the harness that we use. So, but I'm probably gonna take this with me and a Bridgeport that I'm gonna order when we go to the vet to get her x-rays done, and ask the vet their opinion on it. And then, of course you can put your capes. Also, the D-rings back here are also used to attach your capes to. So you can put your pull strap back there, you can put your cape on there, your cape and your pull strap. So there's her harness setup. I think I already showed you. Yeah, I already showed you guys that. Put your pull strap back here. So, and again, guys, this is just where I feel is safest, or I've talked to other people who have mobility dogs, and I'm like, where should this be, on the dog? And that they gave me their opinions on where things should be properly placed. So again, always talk to your vet. Always take what you plan on using as your primary, harness, either for guide work, counterbalance work, things like that. Bracing. Always take that with you to your vet. Go see an orthopedic vet. Is this approved? Are you comfortable? Do you feel this is going to harm the dog in any way? Safety is so important with your dog, not only for your dog, but for you as well. That's your medical equipment. So you want to make sure that you're keeping them as safe as possible while also keeping yourself safe. So sorry, I might get loud. My wife's coming downstairs and the dogs went upstairs to wake her up. So one of her vests has a handle on it, but just to hold while walking, so she steadies me. Yeah, that'd be like grounding. And actually, hang on.
get more gear.
This is like turning into, here's our gear also video or live. So you're talking about a handle. Okay, so this is another one of our River Dog gear vests. If you can't tell, I love River Dog gear. They're heavy quality. This stuff is gonna last. That's why I like it. So they have this handle. And I believe River Dog gear even recommends not use for mobility. This is for grounding, basically. You're just holding onto the handle while the dog moves, and you know the handle should move with the movement of the. You're not pulling up on this in any way. That's not what these handles are designed for. So I prefer the handles because of grounding. I can do that. I just have a grounding handle, and she just walks, and I just hold it. That's all. Do not pull up on these handles, guys. Don't do it. So that's for that. I've seen where they slap like active dog gear vests, like this one. This is a little bit older style, but I love this style of vest. This I had on here because I just stuck it there. That's the only reason it's on there. But usually this is what I have on her collar when we go out. Because she's off leash trained, so this is just for me to grab, like if I need to grab onto her quickly to move her out of the way or something like that. These handles, same thing. I've seen people slap these on dogs and full on hold on to them while they're trying to walk, and they're like using that as like a brace or pull or whatever, or you see the handle over like one side because they're pulling on it. No, that's not safe. And that's again why I'm like, why is there not, standards out there? So, again, this is on there for her. I can just hold on to it. Same thing. I just hold on to it and, she just moves. I'm not using it as bracing. I'm not using it to pull up on. It's just a grounding handle. So this is another one of the vests that we wear fairly often. If you can't tell, her colors are purple and teal. I have a lot of purple. Ooh, knocked you guys over again, sorry. Then there's this. So this is, she's no longer in business. This was Luna's first real vest, my retired service dog. So this does fit Phoebe. I had to let the girth out quite a bit though, because Luna's girth was only like 24, 25 inches. She was small. And this, same thing, it's a grounding handle, okay? So I had this specifically designed so I could have something, and it's a little bit longer because Luna was shorter, to hold on just to ground. And then I have this stuck on here because I just have this stuck on here. Storage, basically, just to store, whatever. But this is, I would pull out around like Halloween or something like that. This is a tactical style vest. And Courage Creations US made this, but they're not in business any longer, unfortunately. So this is a vest I will probably always hold on to, just because it was Luna's, and now Phoebe wears it around Halloween. That's the only time I usually pull it out. And then this is the vest. The other one, this is the same as the other one I showed you. This is just a smaller size. It fits her better. I like it looking better on her. Same thing, grounding handle, basically. You're just holding on, feeling the movement of the dog. There's a spot for pull strap, again. This is to hang like a med bag or something off of. This is obviously an ID clip, which we don't use, and if I could remove that off of this vest, I would. So this is Active Dogs. The other one that I have like this, I'm actually donating to somebody that needs it, so, because I don't need it, I don't use it. But anyway, I just wanted to show you, that's not all of her gear, but that's the majority of it. But just to explain stuff, since you guys were asking a lot of mobility questions. Actually, somebody on my YouTube messaged me and was like, hey, I want to make you some patches. So they made this one in the shape of a stop sign, basically stop if you can read this, if you were too close, in our colors with the purple. And they also made, I don't remember the vest I had them stuck on. They also made these. Service dog, your common sense is greatly appreciated. Unfortunately, because it's white and it's a smaller patch, you can't really read that from a distance. So you have to, it's hard to read from this distance. So you have to be up pretty close to read what it says. But I had these stuck, I have 2 of these, one for each side, stuck on the vest that we use most of the time. So, yeah. I have a lot of patches. I need to go through my patches and get rid of patches too. Yeah. Sorry guys. I'm gonna have to end this live soon. My phone is at like 3%, so it's gonna die. And I can't plug it in where I'm at. Oh, thank you, Karen. Alberta, you have to get your girl spayed, but you don't have $500 yet. I don't know. I guess it all depends on how old your dog is and when you feel you want to get them fixed. Luna, she was a rescue, so she was fixed when I got her. Phoebe is not fixed yet. She also has not had her first heat cycle, and I don't know why, which is also part of the reason she's going to the vet. In March, I'm going to talk to the vet and be like, she's over a year old. She hasn't had her first heat cycle yet. What's going on? Is she okay? Do we need to go ahead and just fix her? Does she have a silent heat? You know, what's going on? You're welcome. What kind of boots or socks do you use? I will show you. Let me go get them. I'm just gonna get a bunch of my gear and I'll show you guys until my phone dies, pretty much. Hang on. Okay, I pretty much got the rest of her gear that I have downstairs anyway. So I'll just kind of go through the rest of it kind of quick. All right, I'll start with the boots. So these are Muttlucks. I love Muttlucks. There's 2 different ones. There's Snow Mushers and then there's Mud Monsters. These are, I believe, you know, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong because it doesn't say. These are the Mud Monsters, basically made for summer. It doesn't really matter. They work just as well in the winter. They're just a little bit more of a breathable material. So in the winter time, you could put socks in there just to keep the moisture out a little bit more. But we're never out in that deep of snow where it's going to get covered on her feet. So these are her back shoes, her back feet shoes. So these are a size 6 and she's a Bernedoodle. So her back feet are a little bit smaller than her front feet. I don't know why. That's a lot of dogs. Their front feet are bigger. So these are the next size up. These are size 7s, and these are the Snow Mushers or whatever you call them. So notice that this has a like breathable material on it for summer, and this has more of like a water resistant material for winter. So these go on her fronts because her front feet are bigger than her back feet. So you notice the size difference, and this is just one size up. These are a 6, these are a 7. Most dogs wear about a size 6. You know, 50 to 60 pound dogs usually wear about a size 6. But she wears 2 different sizes because her feet are weird. So these are definitely boots that I recommend. Unfortunately, these are not cheap. For a set of 2, it is like $85. Or I'm sorry, 40 something for a set of 2. And then for a set of 4, it's like 90 some dollars. It's almost $100. It sucks. But there are really good shoes on Amazon that are called My Busy Dog. So Amazon My Busy Dog. They come in black or red. I think I've seen them in black or red. And those are just as good shoes as these. Okay. It's the same type of design, the hard bottom soles. So yeah, you could get, and those are like, I don't know, $15 to $20. So you're saving a lot of money. You're spending like $30 on a set of 4. That's half the price of those. I just like those specifically because of color, and the quality is really good. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through the rest of her gear real quick. This is another cape we have. This is not her program. This is a group on Facebook that I'm a part of. I admin this group. And guys, please don't go and ask to join. It's for Ohio handlers only. If you're in Ohio, you're welcome to join the group. Just make sure you answer your questions before you come into the group. But if you're not in Ohio, please don't go here and spam the group with requests, because if you're not in Ohio, we're not going to accept you. But this is just a cape that someone had made. I bought this secondhand. This was made by Courage Creations as well. So it's like a tactical sort of style cape based off of the, but anyway, it's just cute. And then I have a State of Ohio working dog patch for her that a friend of mine made. This is our Pride vest that we will probably wear at Pride. It is very lightweight. And then you just have Velcro in the middle that I can put a couple patches on. It has zipper pockets if I want to put like poop bags in there. And the backing is like canvas, so it's really light. Again, I have another cape. We wear this if we want to look more kind of professional. And again, if I'm having a good like mobility day and I just need like my cane. This is just a cape vest. It's like a bow tie vest. And again, it has the group logo. I've been a part of this group from the get-go, and they were a big help in Luna's training and like me understanding service dogs in the service dog community. So that's why I had that made. There's a few people in our group that have vests like that, and then all of the admins except one, I think, that admin the group, they all have vests like that. So if we go out and we do a big meetup, usually we put those on too. So last vest I have is this. This is my con vest for when I go to conventions, especially the anime conventions when those come back around. This says Sailor Scout. It's Sailor Moon. This is this vest is actually really small. It would probably kind of look funny on Phoebe now. When I first got it, she was younger and it looked adorable on her. But I was big into Sailor Moon when I was little. When I was young, like in junior high, it was to this day though, it's my favorite anime. They redid the series and did Sailor Moon Crystal. If you're into anime at all, you know that. So this was made by Sewing with Paws. You can see their logo right there. So this is like a printed screened thing on top of like a canvas material. So unfortunately, if this gets wet, it does distort the image that's on there a little bit. So I would not recommend everyday use for a vest like this. Special occasions. I'm using socks that have rubber on the bottom and cotton on the top. Those are just as good. The problem with those is that my dog never really liked them. Phoebe never liked those, and they didn't stay on Luna's feet very well. Do I recommend hard bottom soles or soft? Hard bottom. Hard bottom because the soft, number one, it's too easy for them to, like, as they're walking, it just, I don't know, flicks off for some reason. These are more structured and have more stability to them. So, I don't know. Plus, a lot of times they don't have very good straps at the top for you to put them around their feet or their legs. So these, can wrap around and be doubled around Velcro. That's why I recommend those. That's just about it, except for a few collars we primarily use. This one says service dog, and it has a little ghost, but it's purple. And if it's hot out, usually this is something that I'm just gonna throw on her. I'm not even gonna put a vest on her. This is gonna be more of like her summer collar. It's a 2-inch collar, it just to mark her as a service dog. Because as hot as it get and humid as it gets around here in the summertime, I'm not throwing a vest on her. So this is more of like our summer. It's a little bit dirty. I need to wash it. Collar. Currently, this is the current collar she's using. This I got off of Amazon. It is local leather. It's hard to read. I'm not even sure if you can read that. But this is bullhide leather, and it's double padded. So the inside is padded. This is the size large. They sent me a large. I was supposed to get a medium, so it is a little bit big on her. It looks a little funny. And then she has all her tags, including her service dog tag. This was Luna's. I just pulled it off of Luna's since she retired and put it on Phoebe's. And she's got her name thing. It says Phoebe service dog on the back, and then my phone number is underneath there. So this is her kind of regular collar when we go out. When my dogs are in the house, the only dogs that wear collars are my little ones, so we can hear them and know where they are. But otherwise, my dogs, when they're in the house, unless they're going outside, they don't wear collars. This is a leash that goes with the collar. It is also bullhide as well. I got it for Christmas. My partner got it for us. Same leather company, so she has a matching leash. This you guys have seen. This is her traffic lead. This is usually what she has on when we go out. So I just hook it to this collar like that, and that hangs off. So that's pretty much it, aside from like some coats and stuff that she has, but that's not really gear.